her and her sisters was going to a dance. They said you wasn't invited to a lot of places in them days and times. There wasn't a lot of places to go. If you went, you either went by wagon or horseback, or you walked. And she said over the mountain there was some people that had an old country dance. They told everybody around, come Saturday night, we're gonna have a big shindig over Sally Harlan's, over there on Sally Harlan Ridge, they called it. Well, the old lady was getting up in age, and her old cabin was there. I seen her old cabin before they tore it down or it burned. I don't remember. But they was quite a distance from where my mother lived to where this Sally Harlan's old cabin was. If you went around by the road, it was probably 6-7 miles. But they could cut straight through the woods and go kind of over the mountain, and it was probably 3 miles. So they decided they would go just through the woods, walk through the woods.
Her and her sister? Her
and her sisters walked through the woods to where they was going to have this dance. Well, they got up there on this big flat, and they heard something, and there was some wild hogs back then. And my mother's sister said, Lucy said, I think that's an old sow and a bunch of wild pigs, wild hogs. And she said, we better go around them. We better go back up and go around them. They said they could hear them kind of grunting and chomping their teeth, And they said, I think them the wild hogs. So they backed up and went around, and when they went around, they got turned around and they got lost up on top of that big flat up there on that mountain. Well, they walked around up there for an hour or so, trying to get their bearings and trying to find out which way to go. And they never did. They never could figure out which way to go. So they stopped, and my mom's sister said, well, what we'll do is we'll listen for our old cowbell. Back in those days, everybody had a few old milk cows. And the old herd cow that led the cows, the old cow that led the herds, they'd put a bell on her, and the rest of the cattle would stay with her. Well, they was listening for the old herd cowbell, so they would know which way to go back home. And Mom said once in a while we'd hear ting, cling, cling, hear that bell just a little bit. And they said they started off, and they went off down in Clinton Holler. So a holler they called Clinton Holler. And after they got down in Clinton Holler, there's a creek, a little spring runs down that holler. And when they got off in there, they knew where they was at. So they just went straight up that holler and hit a point up there and went right up that point to our field, our cornfield. Mm-hmm. And they walked across the cornfield and went on home, made it on home. But they said it was like 2 o'clock in the morning before they ever got back home.
And never went to the dance.
They didn't get to go to the dance because they got turned around and got lost. And there wasn't no road. All it was just woods. But it was a lot shortcut if they, if they'd mm-hmm. stayed. If they'd kept going.
Yeah.
But when they heard them hogs are grunting and taking on out there, they backed up, backtracked a little ways, and tried to go around them. But that's the story of the dance they never made.